Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're at question number 204 for preparing for DevOps and SRE interviews. The purpose of these videos is for you to be ready to face any interview you might have in the DevOps or SRE space. I'm trying to cover in as much depth and as much width as possible with the right level of difficulty of the 15 topics that I've discovered to be the most important. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. It's nothing for you, but it actually makes a big difference in my channel. So I would really appreciate if you did do that. Okay, so you may know from my previous videos, I did some research based on job descriptions, and these are the 15 topics that are most important for preparing for DevOps and SRE interviews. The first five or six are most important. The ones at the bottom are not so important. However, the ones even at the bottom, you should study at least some because they will come up in the interviews, and then you're not going to look so good. But of course, spend much of your energy in the first five or six topics. Okay, today we're at topic number 9, databases. This is not as important as some of the other ones for sure, because databases sometimes there are a whole different team for who tackle databases, and often the DevOps person is not the person who is taking care of the databases, even though sometimes it is. But the reason that the topic might come up is because the interviewer might be looking for your width of your knowledge base. Like even though he or she is not expecting you to be a DBA, he or she is expecting you to know something about databases, especially if databases are a problem area in his or her team or company. That's when databases come up in the interview topics. So the question today is, what are some of the top design concerns when doing schema design for a database, right? So the topic is about schema design. If you don't know what a schema is, please look that up on other YouTube videos. Basically, it has to do with how you're going to have tables and how they're going to interact with each other, how are the indexes going to be, that kind of thing. So overall design of the tables in the database, that's what schema really is. But the question today is, what things should you be concerned about when you're designing a database? Again, you're a DevOps person. You're not supposed to be designing databases at all. But the point of the question is, do you know how databases work? Do you know how the tables come together, right? If you don't, if in the company that you're applying for, database is a big thing, then that becomes a topic of concern. Before I get to the answer, just a quick reminder to use Floyd Spencer if you're in the job market today. He's fantastically effective and passionate to help people who are in the job market. Okay, again, you're not supposed to know everything. So if you know just a couple of things about how schemas are designed, that is great. No more than that is required. So let's start with that. So first of all, you have to normalize the tables so that the redundancy is avoided. Um, um, but at the same time, you don't want to normalize too much to minimize joins. Normalization has to do with how much effort it's going to be to join two tables. So if you're doing a query that goes and queries two different tables, if they're not normalized, then those queries will be very costly. It's going to run forever. But if you normalize too much, then what happens is you carry with you in the databases too much interaction between the tables, right? So that's one thing. Second thing is, when you're defining the table columns, right, the fields, you want to make sure the fields are of the right type. Is it going to be integer? Is it going to be a big integer? Is it going to be just character, or is it going to be a string, and so on and so forth, right? So if you don't use the right data type, the database might be one might be too big, or also it might not be future proof. In the future, if the data type is not correct, when you want to add more data to the column, it's not going to fit. So you have to remember about that. The third thing what was worth mentioning is what's called a foreign keys. Foreign keys is basically a relationship between one table with another, right? If you don't have foreign keys, the data integrity that is required between the tables is not possible, right? So if we're adding a row into a table, and that row, the data in that table has some relationship with another table, right? Those foreign keys have to be defined so that you can't add bad data, right? If you don't do that, then you're setting your schema to be a failure down the line, right? So that's important. Again, don't stress about knowing a whole lot about databases, but know some basic things so that if the questions come up, you know what to answer. All right. If you have particular questions, come find me on LinkedIn, or you can leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next one.